Moin aus dem Barista-Kurs Hamburg. Heute sind wir mal wieder für euch unterwegs und zwar diesmal in Frankfurt. Das Wetter ist grauenhaft, wie ihr seht, aber das ist vollkommen egal, denn hinter uns dort in der Frankfurter Klassikstadt findet das Frankfurt Coffee Festival statt. Und das scheint ein immer mehr sich zu etablierender fester Eintrag im Kaffeekalender des Jahres zu sein. Denn viele Hersteller und viele Kaffee-Nerds besuchen das mittlerweile. Und zwar werden diesmal sehr interessante Hersteller da sein. WPM scheint mit ganz vielen Dingen zu kommen. Und vor allem freue ich mich auf einen Termin, und zwar mit John von Decent. Wir gehen da jetzt rein und schauen uns mal um und mal gucken, was uns da erwartet. Viel Spaß dabei. Wie erhofft bin ich jetzt am Stand von Decent und habe John getroffen. Wir haben Anfang des Jahres viel miteinander korrespondiert. John hat mich angeschrieben zum Thema Maro und da haben wir viel drüber geredet und geschrieben vielmehr. Und jetzt sehen wir uns endlich das erste Mal. Ich schalte mal um. So, jetzt sehen wir ihn hier und er wird uns gleich was zu seiner neuen Maschine sagen. Hi, John. It's a great pleasure to meet you. We wrote a little bit before.
We exchanged a bunch of emails.
Yes, and now you have your new machine here.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about this machine.
Well, when we did the first machine, it's a miracle that we actually managed to ship it. It's very hard, very ambitious to make a brand new model from scratch. And naturally, lots of sensors, lots of things. And now it's almost 10 years later, and the whole world has changed. Now sensors, software are much more common, but also now when we first launched this, the central question we wanted to answer was what kind of profiles for what kind of beans? We just didn't even know. And really, like for dark roast, for example, was there a way to make flavors that were different than the traditional Italian machines? With light roasts, could we make espresso from them? Because most people just did filter coffee. So the difference now is, now there are profiles that we know work well for different kinds of beans. So here I've got, for example, this is good usually for medium, medium light, medium dark, adaptive. This 80s espresso is for dark roasts, and it's a lower temperature shot, making a ristretto. Typically, you get more red fruit wine flavors. The allongé here is more for a light roast, but to make a kind of filter style one. And this is very good for more Nordic roasts, fermented, very fruity things, especially roasts where you are struggling with too much acidity. It really brings the acidity way down. And then Londinium is probably the best overall one. It's a copy of the fantastic Londinium classic machine. And that works for really medium light to dark. So I've got a whole set here. And so the world for us is very different because when we launched this, we didn't know how to make these different coffees.
Okay.
We really didn't.
Yeah.
And all these profiles I just showed you, they did not exist.
Excuse me, but you have the chance to change the profile.
Exactly.
To the first machine.
The machine is programmable,
Yeah.
but I was writing the software and I was going to my gurus and saying, what should we do? And they did not know
Yeah.
because they never had access to programming either.
Yeah.
And so really the first few years was encouraging gurus to come and try out their theories. And so, for example, the adaptive theory, the adaptive profile here is from a researcher named Jonathan Gagné, who's a Quebec-based physicist who's written a book on the physics of filter coffee. And a new book just came out, The Physics of Espresso. And he published a theoretical paper, and we'll talk about that in a second, that he thought this would make good espresso. And at the time, the machine could not do it.
Yeah.
And so I went back to programming, and then I made a profile that could now do it. And this adaptive profile is now the most popular profile on the machine.
Yeah.
So apparently people think it makes good coffee.
Can you explain this profile a little bit? Because it's different to our normal making of
Yes.
fruity espresso. It's very interesting because I drank
Yes.
Espresso was very good. You made me one. And it's a very short shot.
Yes.
22 seconds for very light roast coffee.
Yes.
Interesting. How does it work?
So originally we called this the best practices profile, and the reason is that there's several aspects of this that we learned over the last 10 years that are now best practice. So one is a very fast fill, and you can see if I tap here, you can see it went to 13 milliliters per second. So really, really fast fill, and the reason is that if you get water on the coffee puck and then you maintain some pressure, then you get the entire coffee puck wet very quickly. The old approach with light roast was a Slayer shot of slowly adding water. But the problem with slowly adding water is then the top of the coffee puck has water 30 seconds before the bottom of the coffee puck has water. And so you get a very uneven extraction. The top has been sitting there blooming for a long time, and the bottom, not at all. And so you get a shot that is both over extracted and under extracted at the same time with that old technique. This new technique of a pressurized pre-infusion, the pressure pushes water out, and you'll see when we do this shot, you'll see that about 3 seconds in, the bottom of the puck already has water, and then the machine shuts off completely.
Okay.
And it just maintains pressure. And so now we have the whole thing blooming. A lot of this is coming from filter coffee theory as well, where you try to wet the grounds very quickly, right? And then you let everything bloom at the same time. And then the next thing is, especially with light roast, we really struggle with channeling. And if you rise the pressure very quickly, you're very likely to channel.
Yes.
And also a lot of light roasts can't go to 9 bar.
Yeah.
They like 6 bar, who knows? And so this is a very gentle pressure rise, smooth. And over 5 seconds, then it gives up. It says, okay, how much pressure do we have after 5 seconds? And then it continues at the same flow rate. And this comes from the paper by Jonathan Gagné. It's on the internet, where he said the best extraction for espresso will be the flow rate at peak pressure. And so what happens here is we here are targeting pressure, and then we switch back to targeting flow. So while when I make the espresso, all I do really is grind, hit a button, I have this very complicated profile that was designed partially by physicists, partially by what we learned. It starts off with a flow profile, then it has a pressure profile, then it goes back to a flow profile, and then it stops when the scale says so. Should we make a coffee?
Yes. It's very interesting. So you don't have to grind so fine, I think.
So
Or-
the reason we're not, that what's important here is that because we had a very fast pre-infusion and the soak is almost immediate, we have this 10-second soaking time here. And so that's one of the reasons the shot can be a lot shorter. But the other thing with light roast is generally you want this extraction phase to have a higher flow. That lower flow rates are better for darker roasts, higher flow rates. And the reason is very simple. The theory is that the darker the roast, the easier the coffee goes into the water.
Yeah.
And the lighter the roast, the harder it is. And so you need one of two things in the light roast, either soaking time with water or faster flow.
Yes.
Either way, more water. This profile is doing both. It's having a soaking time here, and then it's having a faster flow, in this case of 3 milliliters per second.
Okay.
But the next shot we do, it's going to be different because the profile adapts. So here we are shooting, and we should be able to see off the mirror. Okay, and now the machine is shut off.
Sure. Okay.
Okay, and
Yeah.
you can see the whole puck is very evenly wet.
Yes.
And there's always some dripping. This is very normal. Now we have the slow pressure rise, and we're trying to not have channeling by having the slow pressure rise. And then the shot is coming out a little faster, 3.5 mils per second on this time.
Okay.
Okay, and that could be variation in the puck prep, variation in the grinder, variation in the beans, whatever. But we did reach 8 bar.
Oh, a lot. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah. Okay.
and this bag was just opened.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing we'd find is tomorrow, probably this pressure will start to decline
Yeah.
because the beans are aging.
Yeah.
But we leave the grind the way it is.
Yeah.
So this adaptive profile is very interesting because no matter what, this was 24 seconds this time. Okay. We were targeting 30 grams and the shot gave us 30.6. So
Okay.
fairly close. Shall we try it?
We try. Yes. Thank you.
So the new machine is trying to come back, and all the compromises we had to make in order to ship, we now are trying to address. So, for example, on this machine, we use a Bluetooth scale here, okay, so that the shot stops, and so you can see. On this machine, the scale is built in,
Ah,
and here is the scale.
fantastic. Yes.
So no more Bluetooth. It's much more reliable. Okay. Over here, a thing I really like is I want cups to be warmed, and I'd like to be able to program it. So years ago, I bought a German plate warmer, and I started experimenting with different cup temperatures. And in the end, I liked 40 Celsius. And so I wanted the same capability. So here on top, this is a thermostat controlled cup warmer. So if you want your cups at 40 centigrade, you get cups at 40 centigrade. We're not using the waste heat for controlling the temperature. Okay? And even if you put a towel on top, it'll still be 40 centigrade. So next, the control mechanism of the pumps is totally different. Something you'll notice here is the flow rate went to 13 milliliters per second. And the limit on this one is 8.
Okay.
So the reason this is important is we are trying with this machine to be able to copy all the machines from history. And something we couldn't do was copy lever machines because they have such fast initial flow rates.
Yeah.
Okay? When I tweaked my La Marzocco GS3, I was able to get it to 12 milliliters per second. That was the maximum.
Yeah.
So now I would say we're slightly faster than the fastest you can tweak a La Marzocco. Still not a lever because a lever is instant. The water just falls.
Yeah.
But you can see here we compress the puck in 5 seconds. So the flow came in and then it crashed because there was no more space
Yeah.
in there. And this seems to be quite important for, especially for dark roasts, if you want to get mouth texture.
Yeah.
Is just, if you have a slow addition of water, you get something much thinner and also much more likely to channel. But this is something we learned when we first shipped. We thought Slayer had a really good idea. We copied that. And then over the years, everyone has settled on fast pre-infusion. I would say the big discovery for us was when we made a profile that copied Londinium. That basic idea that Londinium does, which is a fast fill, a pause, and then a gentle pressure rise, variations on that are what we use for most of our shots. So for darker roasts, you'll have almost no blooming stage, and then a very fine grind, and maybe a shot that goes 35, 40 seconds. And then a light roast, maybe 22 to 25 seconds, and a longer blooming stage.
Interesting. It's a nice machine. What's about the price? What do you?
So this is 6,000 euros,
Yes.
and the older model is 4,000 euros.
Yeah.
And we're going to continue selling both. This is a very reliable machine now that we can produce very simply. And this, of course, being brand new, it's still not perfect.
And it's possible to buy it now, or it's
It
not
is.
still
It should be next month. It'll be available. Yeah. So this machine physically was built in January,
Yeah.
and all the machines are built. We're just finalizing the control software.
Okay. And one question is, when I don't like to use a tablet or something like that,
Yes.
is
So
it possible to make a good coffee without?
so first of all, you can just put the tablet on the side.
It's a little bit complicated.
Yeah.
For the most of the
So the tablet,
coffee drinkers, I
the
think.
tablet you can use to look at the shot if you want, or to set the profile.
Yeah.
However, the machine works perfectly well, simply like this is a traditional machine. So espresso, steam, flush, hot water.
Okay.
And you don't use the tablet at all. If you want, you can put it in a drawer.
Yeah.
I think most people, what they do is they just put it in the back like
Yeah.
this,
Yeah.
and they just take a look.
Okay.
And if the shot wasn't good, they look. If the shot is good, you don't look.
Okay. Can I program different profiles at this?
So no. So it's always, if you don't use the tablet,
Yeah.
then you have that one profile.
One profile.
Yeah, that's it.
But can I change it with the
Exactly.
tablet and then I have it on the
Exactly.
machine?
Yes. So if I go here and I just press 80s espresso,
Yes.
I'm done.
Yeah.
And in fact, when I do so, you can see it lights up
Ah,
to get the
okay,
program.
That's fine. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Der erste Messetag liegt nun hinter uns. Wir sind allerdings auch nur einen Tag hier, denn so riesig ist die Messe nun auch nicht. Aber es sind unheimlich viele spannende Produkte hier gewesen, wie ihr gesehen habt. Und es sieht so aus, als wenn sich auf der Maschinenseite wahnsinnig viel tut. Es wird neue Konzepte geben, in denen uns die Hersteller viele Möglichkeiten bieten, den Kaffee zu verändern oder uns einfach das Leben leichter zu machen. Ich hoffe, dass es euch gefallen hat, dass wir euch einen guten Eindruck haben geben können. Das ist wirklich sehr, sehr spannend. Kommt hier ruhig mal her, denn ich glaube, auch im nächsten Jahr wird das Frankfurt Coffee Festival wieder sehr, sehr erfolgreich sein und viele, viele Hersteller werden wieder herkommen, sodass ihr viel erleben könnt. Natürlich gibt es auch viele Röstereien und alles mögliche andere hier, die ihre Produkte vorstellen. Und es macht sehr, sehr viel Spaß, Kaffee zu trinken. Ist ein bisschen viel auf Dauer, aber trotzdem war es ganz toll. Ja, dann freue ich mich, dass ihr zugeschaut habt. Vielen, vielen Dank. Wir freuen uns über jedes Like und natürlich über jeden neuen Abonnenten, denn damit helft ihr uns, dass wir solche Filme hier machen können. Und bis zum nächsten Mal bedanke ich mich nochmal fürs Zuschauen. Habt viel Spaß, trinkt guten Kaffee und bis bald.